It's time to take off your clothes, enjoy clothes-free living, and join us for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
Welcome to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, the show that celebrates clothes-free living for all. I'm your host, Frank Stone.
And I'm your correspondent, Lisa Monroe, and I'll be reporting on all things within the naturist community. So it's time to get naked and join us.
And enjoy clothes-free living on Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Well, greetings and welcome into Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 104 today. We've been waiting all week for you. Thank goodness you've come back after 167 hours. We've missed you. And guess what? The pool is ready to go. The hot tub is fired up. The grill is going full bore with your favorite steak today. Fruits and vegetables off to the right. Cold drinks off to the left. Hot drinks inside. Cigar bar in the back left corner of the pool area. And yes, we do have extra suntan lotion, extra towels, extra chairs. You cannot go wrong. Come on in and enjoy the next hour with us. Clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. You've come to the right place. Today's show will be a little bit different as we have been advertising. No guest today for the first time ever. Just Frank Stone and just Lisa Monroe going at it for a very long time today. And this is by listener request. We got our first request for this shortly after the first show dropped on July 1st of 2023. We've had many more since, and they've multiplied and doubled and added up and tripled and you name it. And finally we got to the point we probably should do this. We have enough people who want it. So here you go, episode 104, just Lisa, just myself, and we will bring her in just a few moments. Before we do, though, we have a gentleman from Great Britain who sent an audio clip in for show 100, as we had asked some people to do, but he did not get it in on time to be included in episode 100, so we're going to play it for you now, a short clip from a gentleman who prefers to remain anonymous for professional reasons, but he's from Great Britain. We've played a clip or two of him before on past shows. So here we go. This gentleman from Great Britain, his episode 100 audio clip.
Happy 100 to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Thank you to Frank, Lisa, and the whole team for bringing weekly shows championing the clothes-free lifestyle for, altogether now, all of the right reasons. You're easily the most wholesome, authentic, and naked flag-flying podcast, which has given so many of us validation and a voice. Here's to the next 100.
All right. A very nice gentleman from Great Britain. He has sent a clip or two in before about the show, and he wanted to be included on show 100. Missed the deadline by quite a bit. Not his fault. In fact, he explained he has a lot going on in life and then delineated what is going on. Yeah, a lot going on for this guy, so we appreciate him taking the time to send in the audio clip now. And I guess if you want to send one in, you still can. We'll play it when it comes in. It doesn't have to be on 100, which is now long gone. And you don't have to wait for 200. You want to send a clip in to express yourself? Go ahead. And most of them will make it on the air. In fact, up until now, every single one has made it on the air. But you can also write us and let us know what you think about various things that are covered on the show. We enjoy hearing from you very often. As a reminder, we are the official podcast for the American Association for Nude Recreation. Are you a member? If so, great! But if not, you can become a member within moments. Just go to AANR.com, follow the navigation to membership, and within moments, you will become a member of AANR, just like I am and just like Lisa Monroe is. How about that? Well, Lisa is coming through the door as we speak. She'll be ready to go in moments. And we do want your feedback on this show. You've asked for it collectively as listeners. So we want to know what you think. And if you enjoy it, we'll do more of this. If you don't enjoy it, we'll do less of this. A very simple process around here. You like, we do. You don't like, we don't do. How about that? Well, I hear some music. That can only mean one thing. It's time for the great, the terrific, the fully clothes-free and fully smiling, our Naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. And here she is, the one and only, the completely over-the-top, fully clothes-free and fully smiling, our Naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
Good morning, Frank. I'm doing really well, actually, today. This has been a good past week and hopefully a good week to come. So Everything's cool. How about you?
Well, not bad. Just want to make sure you got plenty of rest last night because we're doing a marathon today, just the two of us. And if you noticed, we have extra coffee ready to go within an arm's length reach. So we should be good to go. But you get enough rest? You ready to go?
I'm ready to go. This should be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah. Well, again, I mentioned this once or twice on the show. We got this request as early as right after our first show in July of 2023. July 1st was the very first show. And people wrote in, great, terrific, wonderful. Hey, the two of you ought to do a show together, an episode together. And, yeah, that's nice. But, I'm big into more voices are better. The more voices we have out there, the better. That's why I've said that before, whether it's what we do, the written word, the organizational word, just flood the market with all kinds of great information about naturism. When we have a guest on, we get that third voice. We have my voice, we have your voice. And by voice, I mean thoughts and views and opinions and experiences, not the physical voice, although that helps too. But then the guest provides a third voice, their experiences. And obviously we've had people on from different countries from around the world. So we get that view that you and I don't have because we live in the USA and always have. So when we have people on from the Netherlands and France and Great Britain, New Zealand, Australia, Mexico, and I know I'm leaving some out only in the interest of time, it just makes it more meaningful for the listeners. But at the same time, people have been asking for this, and it's not stopped, by the way. They asked in July of 2023. They've been asking ever since. So we're finally doing it. We're doing one today. We won't do one in July, but then we have one planned for, I believe, August, September, October, November, and we'll probably do one, if not two, in December, depending on how things shake out with the holidays. Not that we don't have guests. We have guests booked from here until a few days beyond eternity.
That's the truth.
But we're ready to go, and I know you're excited about this, and so am I, because it gives us a chance to not so much kick back and relax, because there's no such thing as kicking back and relaxing when you're doing radio and or podcasting, but it is a different feel for us, isn't it?
It sure is. And, it's one of those things we're so used to the way we've been doing things that it's kind of almost a change. It's almost a level of anxiety change because, are we going to give them what they want to hear? And I hope that we can. But, I think it's just a wonderful thing that they wanted. And let's hope that we can provide the same information and the same entertainment that our guests have brought to them as well.
Oh, yeah. And what I'm about to say might sound a tad pompous or arrogant, and I do not mean it that way at all. I mean, you know me better than anybody else around here. But when you listen to radio, when I listen to radio, going back to my youth of single digits all the way up until today, there are certain people / voices that I like to hear on the radio. And I'll tune in to hear their show no matter what they're talking about. And admittedly, some people, now with podcasting, you have 5 gazillion voices. There are a few shows that I listen to every single week, and not every show is great, but I enjoy listening to them tell it, if that makes any sense at all. And we're, based on what our listeners have told us, we're in that same category. They can't wait to tune in to hear us. Yes, they like to hear the guests, but the guests are not consistent week to week. We'll have a guest on for 2 weeks, and then they're basically gone forever, with a few exceptions. We are here every week. We've been here every week. We'll continue to be here every week as the two main voices of Naked Nudists and Naturists. So I don't think there's any question. That's why people have been asking for this. They like to hear our voices. They like to hear what we have to say, because I'm just going to keep complimenting us until the show is over, I think. But
I'll go for it.
Yeah, I don't mean it that way. People know, and you have a gut feeling, even though most of our listeners have never met us. You get a gut feeling, listen to people. Are they fake? Are they frauds? Are they genuine? And I think people have realized and figured out pretty quickly, we're the real deal. We are what we say we are, and we're genuine people who love naturism and not stick in some sexual stuff on the side, because that's what we're really after here, as some other folks have done. It's just all genuine, clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. It always goes back to that, doesn't it?
It sure does. And I agree with you about the voice on radio, because when I was very, very small and my bedroom door was open, I could hear my dad's radio, and my mother and father both had a radio, and they would close to their ear. My mother would finally just listen to hers. because she wanted to hear something else. But
Mm.
I would hear all these shows and all these voices and all these people. And when I got older and I was a teenager and door closed for me at night, I still listened. I always went back to those voices, and those stories and that information, even as a teenager when I should have been listening to rock and roll, but I
Yeah.
wasn't. So it does make a difference. And I think it's one of the reasons that this is such a venue for us that we really enjoy doing and bringing the message this way, because it's so familiar to us. And now hopefully it's familiar to a lot of other people.
Yeah, and this will show you the level of my unwellness, for lack of a better term.
No, there's not a better term, I guess.
Now, this will surprise you because now I get up really early and have for many years.
Oh, yes.
Early as in 3 a.m., 4 a.m. If I sleep past 4 a.m., I figure there's something wrong with me. Why am I sleeping in till 4:01? What's going on? That's just how I'm wired, and probably because I was in careers for a long time where that was not mandatory, but you kind of had to get there early if you're going to run the place. You have to know what's going on. So I just got in that habit. Back in high school, however, it was the opposite. A lot of high school students, I don't know if it's boys more than girls, I don't know, but I was told high school kids like to sleep in. They don't like to get up early. In fact, there are a lot of high schools around the country that they used to start at 7 a.m. and then now they're starting at 9 a.m. because the kids aren't even awake. They're sitting in class at 7, but they're not awake. It's just hard to get high school kids going because they're going through so many bodily changes, and they're growing still. Well, when I was in high school during the summer, I had no purpose or reason to get up early at all. We didn't have cell phones yet. Even though we're 27 now, we didn't have cell phones in high school. That's our story. We're sticking to it.
That's right.
And no friends could play. We played sports every day, but you couldn't play sports in the neighborhood at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. First of all, it was probably dark. Secondly, the non-baseball fan neighbors might have had a few words of wisdom for us, which would not have been nice. So there's no reason to get up early. Plus, at that age, tired as heck, just leave me alone. I was asleep.
Yeah.
Well, here's where the unwellness comes in. There was this guy on the radio. He was an icon in the market where I lived. He had been around forever. He was number one every quarter for something like 30 years or some ridiculous number. He blew everybody away year after year, quarter after quarter. And my dad had put me onto him when I was in single digits. I was a faithful listener to the degree I could. I think he was on 6 to 10 every morning. But obviously during school, I'd have to leave at 7 or so I could listen from 6 to 7. That'd be it. And they didn't have podcasting then, so there were no episodes to listen to later. Well, in high school, during the summer, no need to get up. I'd still set my alarm for 6 o'clock a.m. so I could hear his theme music because I enjoyed it. It was a tune by Count Basie Big Band. And then I would enjoy his intro. Well, good morning, world. Good to have you back here. I thought, okay, all is right with the world now because my favorite radio guy is saying good morning. And I'd listen to his first segment, and then I'd go back to sleep. And then whenever I got up, I'd put him back on and listen till his show went off. Now, that is kind of what I'm talking about when people kind of consider us as their friends and their confidants. They can't wait to hear us. They want to hear us. I understand that because I'm wired the very same way. And you had a show or two like that too, didn't you? Even a national show you mentioned once?
Yes. Well, most of those were at night, the national shows, but in my local area, there were it was a pretty decent market, not a huge city, but there were, early morning shows by the local radio stations, and some of them were really good. They were funny, they were, a lot of sports, they had guests, they had all sorts of things, and the hosts were usually really, there was one in particular that was just really good and everybody loved him. I get up, my mother had that radio on, and we didn't watch TV in the mornings that much then. We listened to that radio while she was fixing breakfast and so forth, even when I was going to school. So yeah, you hear that voice. It doesn't matter what voice it is. You hear that tone, that cadence, all of those things, and it makes a difference because you become familiar. It becomes part of your daily plan. You need that to feel like your day is complete. And I think it's the beauty of radio, and I think now podcast. And The bad part about podcasts is sometimes they're dropped erratically and not very consistent. And I think that that's one thing that's helped us get to the point where people have that same feeling is because we are so consistent. But because consistency is king in radio. So, yeah, I think that's the part of the deal.
Yeah, and that's why we drop a brand new show. It sounds like an ad again, but that's why we drop our brand new show every Saturday morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time on Spotify. But in all seriousness, that is why.
Yes.
Because then people set their expectations. You know, it's Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. You're totaling out, okay, only 13 more hours. Get up early. Or if you're in, Great Britain, you're 5 hours ahead. That's 11 a.m. for you. France is noon. And, around the world, they have different time zones. But people have the expectation, and they know when they fire up their computer or their phone at 6 a.m. Eastern Time on a given Saturday, there we are, brand new show. We haven't missed once. And I listened to 2 shows in particular, not Naturism shows, but shows that come at us every week. And they are not consistent with their posting time. They're consistent with their posting day. One comes out on a Wednesday, one comes out on a Thursday, and it's supposed to be in the morning, but sometimes it is not. And I get frustrated. I put it on. Where is it? What happened? What's going on here? Are they going to post a show or not? And they eventually do. And it might not even be their fault. It could be the fault of technology and the ins and outs that we don't understand enough to explain. We know we can control Spotify. We know it's going to hit there at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Other podcast platforms we have no control over. So if you go to Apple, say, hey, it's 6, where are they? Well, we're on Spotify for sure. And we'll eventually be on Apple, but it's not our choice as to when it hits Apple. But the point is being consistent. I think you called it king. Yeah, that's exactly why we do that. So when people look for us, they want to hear from us. They know they're going to get us. And every Saturday morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time on Spotify, there's that ad again. I should market that, coin that.
I think you should, shouldn't you? Well, as we said, repetition is important in radio. So
and then there we are. They put us on at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. We've never let them down yet. Well, on today's show, we have a few things to cover, and we'll get to the Patreon and merchandise in just a moment. But we have some songs that we want to play for you, 2 written by Rick Dorsiac. And I know you remember him from Kick-Ass Nudists. The guy's on fire for naturism. Can't stop talking about it in a very positive way, and we're big fans of him. Well, he goes off, creates, 5 to 6 million memes a day that are always great, always centered around the positive aspects of naturism. And as if he didn't have enough to do in life, he goes and writes some songs. Like, Rick, you're making us look bad here, buddy. Cool down
absolutely.
a little bit. Give us a chance, man.
He not only got his nude on, he got his music on too. So that's pretty cool.
And both songs, I will say this, even though music is one of those touchy areas, I could think a song is great. Other people say, Frank, that's the dumbest song ever. That's just how music affects the mind, body, and soul. But his songs, there are 2 of them, are really good and very well done. And we'll play those for you throughout the show. We have another one by Vlad, Vlad Consultant Vlad. He's on Twitter all over the place. Posts on Reddit quite a bit. We've read some of his writings before. He wrote a song, and we'll play that as well. And then we have some emails and DMs that have come in and that we'll read to our listeners as well. So if you're okay with that, and we'll dive into Patreon. Does that sound okay to you?
Sounds fine to me.
All right. Everybody knows we have a Patreon page, and the reason is we were doing the show for free. We gave up paid work to do it. Not the brightest business move ever, as we were told over and over and over again, as though we were 2-year-olds and had no clue. And so we've asked you for support to help meet the expenses, and you've risen to the challenge, and we appreciate that very much. And you can become a PPP, a paying Patreon peep, by going to patreon.com, finding us, Naked Nudists and Naturists, or it's the very first line you'll find in the show notes for any show. It's right there. Just click and join, and we appreciate you very much. And Lisa Monroe, we have a couple of PPPs to hoot and holler and celebrate about. Who are they?
Well, our newest PPPs are Steven and Mary Ann. We were really glad to have them with us, and welcome aboard.
I wasn't sure if that was Stiven or Steven. It's Stiven. And I don't even know what country, if that's USA or around the world. I don't know.
Well, if I mispronounced it, I apologize,
All
but
right.
so because we don't know for
Right.
certain, but we're just glad to have him by
All
any
right.
name.
That's right. He knows who he is. That's the most
He,
important thing.
that's the
Yeah.
only thing that matters.
All right. So Steven/Stephen, thank you very much. And Marianne, thank you very much as well. And thank you to everybody who contributes to the show. It's because of you we're able to continue going without having attorneys and CPAs calling us various names and threatening to do various things that we can't discuss in public. So we appreciate you very much. How about merchandise, Lisa Monroe? You are the queen of merchandise. You know it all. I know nothing at all, literally, about what we do with merchandise other than what you tell me. So go ahead and tell me what's going on.
Well, I spend a great deal of my day going, oh, okay, they ordered that. Oh, they
Yeah.
ordered that.
Yeah.
Very good. And I
Yeah.
have to say that within 10 or maybe a half hour, I'm going to say a half hour of our 100 shows dropping at 6 a.m. by
Mm.
6:30, we already had orders for clothes free living for all the right reasons.
Wow.
So I'm really happy that people enjoyed that and wanted to, have that slogan around them when they're out being the naturists that they are. But we have 3 lines now. We have naked, nudist, and naturist merchandise. We have N&M merchandise for those of you who want to keep it in mainstream at some point in time. You can always come up with something that N&N stands for. And if somebody asks, if you don't want to tell. And the other one is the brand new one, which is our slogan that kind of caught on, which is clothes free living for all of the right reasons. So there's various merchandise for all things. The beach towels, that was the first thing this person bought, were beach towels. So, the beach towels seem to be doing really, really well, and I'm real happy about that.
All right. And various items come in different colors. Is that correct?
Yes, I mean, if you want a t-shirt, the t-shirts come in different colors. The hats come in different colors. The beach towels are the same. I'm trying to think, there is something else that comes in different colors, but mostly the merchandise, the cloth, like t-shirts and hats. Those are ones that you can select. If you want a red shirt, you can get a red one. If you want a pink, you can get pink. If you want blue or navy, you can get it. And it comes in sizes from small all the way to 4X. So, some of these shirts are really good for cover-ups if you want to have them for, if you want to keep the sun off of you after you've been out, sunbathing all day and naked. This will give you something to cover up to keep the sun off your shoulders.
Yeah. You know what I think would be cool/funny?
What?
I told the story about the coffee joint drive-through I drove through and got to the window, and the young lady thought, it is Frank Stone, she'll leave my credit card. I'll put on a naked nudist and naturist t-shirt, walk around town, and somebody will see it. This might never happen, probably won't ever happen, but that's why I said it'd be funny/cool.
Yeah.
They'll see my shirt and say, oh my gosh, is that the podcast show? I
Yeah.
listen to that show all the time. Do you listen to it? And my answer could be, yes, I do. We give you a brand new show every
And then they'll freak out.
Yeah.
We live in Florida, and there are a lot of
Yeah.
naturists in Florida and a
Oh,
lot of
yes.
visitors in Florida that come
Oh,
down.
yes.
So there's a distinct possibility if you did that, that would happen. So
That would be hilarious. We give
It
you a
would
brand
be.
new show every Saturday morning, 6:00 a.m. Eastern Time on Spotify. And then they would have one of two reactions. Either they would pass out or they would say, wow, you sound exactly like that Frank Stone guy.
Exactly.
And I would say, well, thank you. I've been working on my impersonation. Have a good day. And get out of there before I, discovered whatever. But I think that'd be funny. It probably will never happen, but it would be funny.
It would be very funny, but one never knows. So you have to be prepared like a Boy Scout.
That's right. And with that, Lisa Monroe, we have, as I mentioned at the beginning, some emails, DMs to get into. We have some music. Why don't we go ahead and play some music right away so we don't get too far behind and have to jam all 3 songs in at the end? That's no fun. And we want to give each song their own special place in this whole area here. So here we go. This was written by Rick Dorsiac of Kick-Ass Nudists. His song entitled, I'm Naked.
I'm naked. Yeah. Woke up with the sunshine kissing my face. No clothes, no problems. I'm feeling great. Flip flops, nah, I ditched those two. Just me and the breeze and the sky so blue. Got a cool chill, and yeah, we're nude. Ooh, yeah.
What a great song. It just captures the whole spirit of naturism, nudism, clothes-free living. Rick is becoming my new hero in life in the naturism community. What about you?
Absolutely. I mean, I've always, his enthusiasm is contagious, and you can't help but just want to be around hearing him and listening to him and getting that information from him. And, for our newsletter that we send out to Patreon members, I use his little memes all the time. And because they're hilarious, or they're very poignant, or they mean something to the naturism community. But wow, now we know he writes books and now he writes music. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if I find out he's, also the brain surgeon at his local hospital and heart surgeon every Wednesday, then I'll have to be really jealous. But
Yeah,
otherwise, great job, Rick. Rick Dorsiac, kick-ass
Fabulous.
nudist. Check him out. And we have another song of Rick's we'll get to a little bit later in the show. You are listening to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 104 today. No guest, just the unbelievably over-the-top, fully clothes-free and fully smiling Lisa Monroe, who's posing for the camera, even though we have no camera on her. But I wish we would have, because that would have been worth the price of admission right there.
Oh, just being silly, I guess. Never mind.
All right, well done. Well, why don't we get to our first letter here? This is from Scott. We've talked about Scott before. He was one of our very first listeners, might have been the first one who communicated with us after episode 1. And you mentioned on episode 100, he was the first one to hit up the website.
Yes.
And he wrote a letter after episode 100 a few weeks ago. And Lisa, if you don't mind, go ahead and read that first paragraph.
Okay. It said, Frank, I just finished listening to show 100. Thanks to you and Lisa for all the kind words. It's much appreciated. I enjoyed the music. It made me think about songs that were written supporting the joys of being nude, like Let's Get Naked by Joan Osborne and Hot in Here by Nelly, just to name a few. Will Forrest did a great job with the Beverly Hills theme rework. And funny thing was, it was Petticoat Junction, a show that the Beverly Hillbilly characters appeared on, that referenced skinny dipping often.
Okay, and I'll continue on. The Bradley girls skinny dipped in the water tower. Kate, their mom, gave them grief for it in the first episode. Billy Joe, one of the daughters, tries to buy a swimsuit, and Kate says, "We can't afford that." Billy Joe then glares at her mom as if to say, "Stop complaining then."
There you go.
I was unaware of that. Now, age jokes aside, we can say this is way before our time, but these episodes are available somewhere. Netflix, Amazon Prime, YouTube, you can find them somewhere. I didn't realize that skinny dipping was such a big topic in some of these shows back in, the 60s?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're on MeTV, maybe. Some of these shows are. I don't know if the Petticoat Junction is, but I remember seeing reruns of it. And yes, they show the three girls in the water tower swimming, and they appear to be naked. So in the opening credits. So, it was innocent. There was nothing wrong with it. It was innocent.
In the opening credits, so this happened on every episode?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
I think
didn't
if I
know that.
remember correctly, I watched the show because mom on the show reminded my dad and I of his oldest sister so much that we watched it all the time and used to kid her about the show. But yeah, so if I remember correctly, that scene was in every show, and then occasionally they would be there as part of the storyline talking about something.
So the Bradley girls on Petticoat Junction were naked on the screen at the beginning of every show.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything, just the shoulders or whatever, but there was the insinuation that they were swimming nude in the water tower.
All right. Can we go to plan B for today's show, Lisa?
What is that?
I'm going to leave. I'm going to go fire up Petticoat Junction in the other room. Can you handle the rest of the show? Thank you very much, and enjoy your show.
Guess I'll have to. Well, I think you can just sit there for a few minutes and anticipate that you're going to go see it, and let's finish the show.
Okay, that's probably a better idea.
Yeah, I think so.
It'll be very rude of me to just walk out in the middle of a show.
Yes, it would. Very, 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 very rude.
All right. Well, I wrote back to Scott and had, thanked him for all the information. I was unaware of that. I didn't know nudism was talked about so much, in this particular show. But then he had an add-on DM to us, if you don't mind reading that.
You're welcome. I don't know if all the episodes it's mentioned, but the theme plays on it all the years it was on. There are many TV shows that have had a nudist theme episode. Even the Brady Bunch had one. Three's Company and Family Guy also had shows about it. And of course, MASH, Hawkeye collected nudist magazines and even walked nude to the mess tent on a bed. The music and TV shows supported being nude might be a good pair of topics one day.
Yeah, and I see that what that tells me is that nudism has always been alive and well.
Mhm.
People have hidden it behind fences and behind walls, but they're practicing it all of the time. And some of these
Absolutely.
people, the producers, writers, directors, whatever, decided, let's stick a little naturism in here and see if anybody notices. Well, we notice because we're very well aware of it. And I remember one show, Charlie's Angels. I'm
Yes.
sure you're familiar with that. One of the
Yes.
best TV shows ever written with some of the best acting you'll ever see,
Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
or not, depending on your view.
I'm not sure anybody watched it for the acting or the storyline, but that's okay.
I don't think so either. But Farrah Fawcett, not that I'm an expert on Charlie's Angels. In fact, I've never seen the show, don't even know what I'm talking about, but I'll continue on if that's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Never seen the show. Okay.
Farrah Fawcett left the show after the first season. They brought in Cheryl Ladd as her replacement.
Mhm.
So season 2, episode 1, Cheryl Ladd joins the team, and her first mission was she had to go into a nudist resort
Right.
undercover, no pun intended, but to check something out, find some criminal, whatever. I don't remember the plot of the story. I don't remember if there was a
Wonder
story,
why.
but I do remember that she went into this nudist club.
Mhm.
And of course, she was apprehensive, like, I don't know if I can do this, and whatever, and the usual stuff. And at some point, she took all of her clothes off and walked in. Now, you saw her from behind in only her back, and I don't know how far down the back, but it was clearly designed to give the viewer, she's naked as a jaybird walking into this nudist joint. And even then, I thought, if they did more of this, it would become more mainstream and more accepted rather than just stick it in every once in a while, because then people think, there's the people at the zoo on display. No, it isn't natural and fully natural, and people do it. We just don't talk about it a lot. So there's been a lot of nudism, naturism, and a lot of shows, I guess, right?
There certainly has been. And I have to say that I remember the episodes, where Hawkeye, had got his latest nudie magazine that, the radar would bring to him or whatever. And it was normal. I mean, this is a great doctor has no issues with being nude, and he wanted to keep up with what was going on at the nudist colony. So
Yeah.
I think we need more of this, because I don't think anybody had an issue with it then. Now censors have gotten involved, and now we can't do it. And now look at what happens.
Yeah. And I don't want to get off on a sidetrack, although we could, but just in interest of time, it is so blasted relaxing, and it feels so great to just close for your living for all the right reasons, whether you're on your deck or at the beach or in your home. And we're being prevented from doing that in most places, basically at a nude beach, at a nudist resort, in your home. That's kind of it, folks, at least in the USA. But glad to know it's out there in these mainstream television shows, and we thank Scott for that letter. We also got one from Brian. Brian has written in many times. He's the one who want to do this. I don't know. Oh, I'm going to make an appointment at a nudist resort for a tour. Still not sure. While driving there, he put our show on for some final inspiration to get him over the hump, over that last step, and went there, got his clothes off during the tour, and thought, this is the greatest thing ever. And he's kept us updated, including this recent email, if you don't mind reading this one from Brian.
Don't mind at all. He says, "Dear Frank and Lisa, in a previous email, I told you that I plan on trying social nudity for the first time during my birthday week, which starts with my birthday on July 7th. I told you that I reached out to Rick Dorsiac from Kick-Ass Nudists, and he agreed to meet me and show me around Lake Como. We finally have a date set. I will be going to Lake Como on Wednesday, July 9th, to meet Rick and explore what Lake Como has to offer. Rick also is going to give me a bag with some Kick-Ass Nudist swag. I will send you an email after my visit to tell how everything went. Congratulations on your 100th episode. Your show is amazing, and I always enjoy listening to it."
All right. And then he says, thanks, and
Yeah.
signs off as Brian. And we appreciate that, Brian, very much. And we wish you, well, we're going to give you best wishes when you meet Rick and go to Lake Como, but you don't need best wishes. It's going to be the greatest experience of your life. And, hats off. Here we go again to Rick Dorsiac. I think we just might as well make him the third member of the team. We mentioned him so much, but hats off to Rick for saying, yeah, come on down. I'll meet with you. I'll take you around. I'll give you some stuff. An overall great guy, but great that Brian is going full bore into this, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I want to say something about Rick. Rick is what all naturists should be. Rick has notoriety. He has a great website. People know him. He does all these things for naturism, but he is willing to help anybody that comes along. There's no jealousy. There's no, I'm better than you are. I know about everything. So Rick is just Rick, and he believes in what he says, and he opens himself up to everybody who comes along who wants to learn. So that's what we all should be.
Yeah, very much so. And we appreciate the note from Brian. Let's read one more, and then we'll get into our second song. And this is an email from Richard. He was one of our first Patreon peeps, one of our first PPPs. And Lisa, if you don't mind, go ahead and read that letter.
Okay. He says, hi, Frank and Lisa. I just wanted to say a few words about your 100th episode. First off, overall, I like the content. As always, you got the nudist message out there. Now, I was actually the second PPP to sign up. The first day you mentioned names of PPPs, you said 3 names, and mine was the second name.
All right.
He remembers. I love that.
Yeah.
Yay. Now, if I was ever going to send someone to your podcast that was thinking about being a nudist, today's show would be the one. The reason I say that is because you totally summed up all your 100 shows in one. The guest that wrote in, who was also a previous guest, also summed up what they talked about when on your show. So I feel there was more information about nudism in this show than all of the others. Not that your other shows did not do that, but instead trying to send them to one particular show for that person, they can get all the content in your 100th show. I hope that made sense.
It did. And
Wow.
we appreciate that very much. We don't have time to read his whole email, but he went on from there to talk about the music. And he was a little put off by Andre's behavior, trying to pick you up, basically. And I wrote back to him, and it was basically a spoof. It wasn't really a guy coming to the studio trying to pick up women. That was just a spoof. And it has to do with the fact that, I'll just say this, even though I don't have permission from you to say this, you basically can't go anywhere without getting males to pay attention to you. You don't seek it out. You don't say, hey, world, here I am. But you even have 20, 22-year-old waiters who come to the table. Hi, can I? You're very beautiful. Can I take your order? They get tongue-tied when seeing you. It's true. You don't have to respond to it. And so we were playing off of that a little bit. It was Jennifer's idea, so I can just blame it all on her. But
yeah, let's blame Jennifer.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, everybody understood. But in case you didn't, and certainly Richard did not, and we just wanted to let you know, yeah, it was just done in fun. Andre actually is a very nice guy, and that's not his personality. So we thought we should point that out.
2 things I want to say. Andre is a very nice guy, and he was having fun with it, and we were all having fun with it. And Jennifer was having a blast because she was getting to play with all these guys in their their personas that they adopted for the show. And they were, talking to her that way. So it was really great. But the other thing I want to say is everybody needs to realize Frank would never have allowed anybody in this studio that would have treated any of us that way. So, there we go.
That's a very good point. I appreciate you saying that. So no harm, no foul, just trying to have a little fun and a little music. And his voice, we've talked about that before, could blow paint off of the walls, I think.
Sure can. When he's really doing opera, it sure can.
Oh, man, you're not kidding. Well, let's get into our second song here. And I should remind everybody you're listening to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 104 today. Glad that you are with us. And this song is from consultant Vlad. He posts on Twitter. He's part of a subreddit page on Christian Naturism. This song is from Vlad, entitled Innocence's Call.
Adam and Eve with innocence did grow. She taught them love, pure and free from shame. A merry dance in God's own holy name. But they chose a path, turned from her light, hid from the Lord in the shadows of night. Innocence wept as their hearts grew cold, and the world forgot she told. Oh, innocence calls, let's live free and true. No shame in the skin that God gave me and you. Hearts unbound, we're close to the land. Love grows strong with our toes in the sand. No chains of lust, no lies to believe. In nature's way, we're free to receive. Sing with the breeze, let your spirit take flight. Innocence leads to a life full of light. Like Adam and Eve, unashamed in their skin. Jesus rose free, left his clothes for our sin. No shame in his heart, in the garden he stood. Restored innocence to live as we should. We shed our fears, let our burdens unwind. Naked, unashamed, with a pure open mind. In love we're set free, his truth we embrace. Walking with God in his garden of grace. Oh, innocence calls, let's live free and true. No shame in the skin that God gave me and you. Hearts unbound, we're close to the land. Love grows strong with our toes in the sand. No chains of lust, no lies to believe. In nature's way, we're free to receive. Sing with the breeze, let your spirit take flight. Innocence leads to a life full of light.
But today's world clings to a modesty lie, hides the body, lest true freedom die. They call us sin to be as God made, wrap us in rules till our hearts start to fade. Innocence whispers, don't fear what's true. Your body's his art, let his light shine through. Break the chains of a culture misled. Live like the garden where love is widespread.
Now I dream of a world like Eden's embrace, where God walks with us in his spirit of grace. With my love by my side, we'll laugh in the sun. Live as one with the Lord, our journey begun. Innocence guides us, her song in our hearts. A Christian life where no shame tears apart. From this garden we'll grow, till the heavens we see. Forever free, just as God meant us to be.
And there we go, Lisa Monroe, yet another song from one of our listeners on Naturism. Incredible, isn't it?
Very much so. And he's very articulate. He writes poetry. The narrative that he writes when he writes his articles and everything is just exceptional. And now that then we have another one that's out there writing music too, and writing well. It's just amazing. And it kind of goes to show the diversity of naturism. We are everything. We are everyone. And that's just great to see this music coming out.
Yeah. I don't know if I told you this or not. One of our listeners who checks in regularly, he checks in on every show multiple times. He's also listened to every show 5 or 6 times, he said. Graham down in New Zealand. He's also the one who won the coffee mugs for getting the closest to the show length. I think he said 3 hours, 5 minutes. It was 3 hours, 49. He was the closest. Well, he wrote in, he thought the last song that Bob and Hank did, I Don't Look Good Naked Anymore, he thought that was drop dead beyond phenomenal. He actually looked the lyrics up online, and I guess he was just getting a kick out of it because it just hit home on so many points, and he really enjoyed that. So that's why the guys provided different songs in different styles. You might like one, might not like the others, might like all 5, might like none, but at least they came in and gave it a shot. So we appreciate all the feedback on all of the music. Yeah.
And we appreciate these guys, that we've known for a while and who've done this, at a lot of gatherings and stuff just for fun. They don't do it professionally. They don't do it. They have other professions, but they enjoy putting on these personas and singing songs. And I have to say, I Don't Look Good Naked Anymore was by far my favorite as well for a lot of reasons, because it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
And it's just really good.
Yeah. And if we don't do video of the show, we should have done video for 100.
You probably should have.
To see these guys in the studio, Bob and Hank, singing that song, they were in that zone like this is the happiest moment of their lives singing this song. They just had a whale of a good time, no pun intended, but they just had a great time, didn't they?
And they sure did. And what was really fun was to see everybody else who was in the lobby glued up against the
Yeah.
the glass to watch.
Yeah.
And and thank goodness they could hear. So it was just
Yeah.
a lot. We had a lot of fun that day.
Yeah, I'm really glad. I'm not sure how we totally pulled it off, but we kept the excess noise off of the microphones. That's why we turned some things off during the show. It was pretty loud out there. I could hear it, but it didn't make it through the glass into the mics, thank goodness. But it was a wild and woolly show. Lots going on, lots of people coming in and out. Jennifer, I don't know what the heck she was doing, but she was having a good time doing it. And a good time was had by all. And then we had the barbecue afterwards.
Yep.
We stayed probably another 3 or 4 hours before everybody left. And,
We sure did.
maybe when we get to 200, we'll invite more people over. We just kind of did this, you guys are coming in, we'll provide a barbecue for you.
Yeah.
And maybe next time we'll make it a bigger celebration on 200. How about that?
That works for me.
All right.
Not that much further down the pike for,
I
for
know.
200.
We'll be here soon.
The rate time's going.
Yeah. Well, we have one more quick note we wanted to get to. This is from Gareth Johnson. He is the podcast host of Naked Men Talking out of Great Britain. Does a great job. I mentioned that before. He's a professional journalist. That's what he does for a living. He turned to podcasting to enhance all of that and bring attention to his writing. And he writes in multiple genres as well as articles on everything, not just naturism, but everything under the sun. Very talented guy and an excellent interviewer. He was a guest on this show. And he sent us a very quick note after episode 100. And Lisa, if you don't mind reading that.
I don't mind at all. Really appreciate the shout out on today's show. Made me feel really special. Sending you lots of naked love. Nice. It was nice.
Yeah, if you send in 50 paragraphs, that's great. We read them all. If you send in, what did he send in? 3 sentences? We read that. We appreciate it all. And hats off to Gareth. Now, his show, as we pointed out before, so people aren't led astray, it does get into the sexual aspect rather heavily, fairly often, but it's still naked naturism, nudism stuff going on to a degree, and a very professional guy and excellent interviewer, as I mentioned. So Gareth Johnson, we thank you very much. Well, Lisa, why don't we turn to our final song? This one's also by Rick Dorsiac of Kick-Ass Nudists. I'm not sure if we should be charging him or if he should be charging us. I haven't figured it out yet, so...
I'm not even sure, but this is fun. So let's hear it.
Absolutely. Song number 2 by Rick Dorsiac entitled Barefoot, Bare All, Freedom Song, the Nudist Party Anthem.
Are you ready? Let's go. We showed up with nothing but smiles and good vibes. No shirts, no shoes, no worries, just high tides. The music is loud, the sun's shining bright. We're dancing like freedom, naked we take flight. No hiding, no shame, no tan lines defined. This is the season where we really shine. We got skin in the sun, yeah, we're feeling alive. No fabric, no rules, just a natural high. Raise your glass to the sky, let your worries be gone. It's a barefoot bear, freedom song. We got skin in the sun, come on, sing along. Na da 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 da. Laughing in circles, we're tender and we're bold. Each story we carry is perfectly told. Stretch marks, tattoos, we celebrate all. No cover can match how it feels to stand tall. No mirrors, no filters, just light and some tunes. We're dancing like stars underneath the full moon. We got skin in the sun, yeah, we're feeling alive. No fabric, no rules, just a natural high. Raise your glass to the sky, let your worries be gone. It's a barefoot barrel, freedom song. We got skin in the sun, come on, sing along. Feel the breeze on your soul, lose control, let it roll. From the mountains to the sea,
another great song by Rick Dorsiac. And I don't know what's going on with this guy. It seems like he does a lot and everything he does turns to gold. And so Rick Dorsiac, keep it going. What do you think, Lisa?
Yeah, it was exactly my thought that he has the Midas touch. He definitely the man, because he's of his enthusiasm, and
Yeah.
also, he's a smart guy and also a very creative guy. So it just stands to reason that there's not much he can't accomplish. And so music now. So now we know everything. He is the king of naturism. There's no question about it.
That's
We
right.
therefore dub thee.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what I like about Rick maybe the most is that he does all of this genuinely and out of the kindness of his heart. We know some frauds and fakes out there who are in the
Oh.
whole naturism business to make money. They don't make money, but that's why they got in. That's why they're staying in. Rick is not one of those. I don't think he cares if he makes a half a penny. He's just out there putting information in the written word, now writing songs and obviously promoting naturism through his website, Kick-Ass Nudists. He runs classes, helping people get over that hump. There are some people, I could never take my clothes off in front of somebody else, but it does sound like it might be fun. Okay, you've come to the right place. Here we go. And just an amazing guy. So Rick Dorsiac, we thank you very much, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Lisa Monroe, somehow, some way, aided by, I am finishing my second cup of coffee during the show. I had maybe 2 before the show, and I have kind of lost track. Is that your second one as well?
It certainly is.
Okay. It's easier for me to keep track because I have one mug that literally holds 2 cups. I'm not using a Naked Nudist and Naturist coffee mug because that only holds 1 cup. But I have this other one. It's called Mug of Coffee. That's what it says on it. It literally holds 2 cups, I think 16 ounces or whatever that is, of coffee. So I don't have to get up during the show, which would be kind of rude to the listeners as well.
And you probably bought the 11-ounce cup. The 15-ounce, there is a 15-ounce cup as well.
Oh, see, that's when I say I don't know what's going on with merchandise, that proves it right there.
It proves you don't even look at the webpage. So I'm going to sick Jennifer on you for that.
Well, it's not because I'm at the beach frolicking around. It's because I'm in the studio, mixing and processing, post-producing, and making you sound like $1 million. So get off my case, woman.
That makes it all worthwhile, right? You make me sound great, so you don't look at what I do. Okay, that works.
That's right. So it's worth the trade-off, right?
I'm not so sure, but we'll think
All
about that. So you can go get another cup, maybe get a clothes-free living for all the right reasons cup in 15 ounces, and then you can have your basically almost 2 cups of coffee.
Well, now that I know that that's available, I'm glad you said that. So now I will do that. I'll order one today. And since you're in charge of this, do you promise to either ship it to me or bring it to me? You'll actually ship it?
Well, it'll be shipped, yes, because that's out of my hands. That's done automatically by the company that we use for our merchandise, and they're good.
As long as you don't forget me, then we're good to go.
I won't forget you, I promise.
So, plenty of rest, plenty of coffee. We've done it, episode 104, and we're going to do this again, as I mentioned, in August. We'll do it in September, October, November, I think. I'm going by memory. And then you and I will talk about maybe doing 1 or 2 in December around the holidays as we mix and match guests along the way and slot them in to the best spot for where they belong. So with that, Lisa Monroe, any final words of wisdom before we bid you farewell?
No, it's been actually fun to do this, and I hope our listeners enjoy it. And let us know, and we'll be happy to do it again. It's still a lot of fun.
All right. With that, Lisa Monroe, go out there and have a great clothes-free week. We'll see you next time.
Okay, you too, Frank, and everyone the same. Take care.
All right. The very terrific Lisa Monroe does it all around here. We appreciate her a lot. Coming in for these segments, the website, the merchandise, and so much more. And as she went dancing out of the studio just now, she made a left turn, which could only mean one thing. She went to the coffee station out there yet again, so it looks like we're going to have a post-show coffee session here today. Nothing wrong with that. Well, we want to know what you think. This was episode 104, the very first time that Lisa and I did an entire show together. No guests. Yes, we added in some music. We had an audio clip at the beginning, but no guests during the show. The first time we've ever done that. And again, that's strictly by request of lots of listeners. Starting with week 1, way back in July of 2023, we've had requests ever since. They began to multiply and add up. So we thought, let's do this. Our listeners seem to want this, so let's do it. But we want to know what you think. If this is a good thing, we'll do more. If it's not a great thing, we won't do many more. We'll still do some to please the listeners who want them. But if more and more people want them, we'll do more and more of these episodes. We are here for you. So let us know what you think. You can find us at email, nakedforevermore@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Patreon. You can even leave a message on Spotify after one of the shows. You can leave a comment there, and we will find it and respond to you. So we thank you very much for being with us today on this very first attempt by Frank Stone and Lisa Monroe doing a show together to fulfill the request from the audience. Back to semi-normal next week, and on the next 2 shows, episodes 105 and 106, our guest will be Chris from Indiana Naturists, a non-landed nudist club. Well, you've been listening to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 104 today. We give you a brand new show every Saturday morning at 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. Continue to join us. Check us out on our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com, Spotify, Google, Amazon/Audible, Apple Podcasts, and also on Twitter. You can write us anywhere, anytime, any place. And we thank you for being with us today. Plan to join us for every single one of our shows here and have your clothes off when you're listening. We have our clothes off when we're broadcasting, enjoying the naturist life.
We celebrate clothes-free living for all. Remember to enjoy being naked and join us again for Naked Nudists and Naturists.
We drop a brand new show every Saturday morning, so come back and join us. Have your clothes off when you do for Naked Nudists and Naturists. Have a great clothes-free day.